right, let's jump into the software right now to see how long this 60-year-old's retirement investments are going to last. Now, as you can see here, he's 60 years old, all right, and he wants to retire in July of 2022. Now, when I'm recording this video, it's actually June, so we've got about 1 month before he retires. His current salary is $5,525 a month, and he is single and living in the state of New York. So taxes are a big deal. We're not going to necessarily address that in this video, but taxes are a big deal to his retirement. Now remember, his Social Security at 70 is going to be $3,300 a month. We want to delay Social Security from 60 to 70 to get the biggest bang for the buck. Now remember, if he were to take Social Security at 62, he's only going to get 70% of his full retirement benefit. If he waits till his full retirement, which is 67, he would get 100% of his full retirement benefit. And if he waits till 70, which is what we're doing right now, he's going to get 124% of his full retirement benefit. So as a single individual, it makes sense for him to look at waiting as long as possible to basically create the largest pension he can, because that's going to help him later in life with his retirement income. Now there's no pension, so that's blank there. Now from an asset standpoint, here's what we've got. Let me just scroll to the bottom. We've got $709,446 in retirement investments and retirement savings. Now, for this scenario, this is going to be the 6% scenario, which is the 6% rate of return. Remember, sequence of returns is his biggest concern in retirement. So his portfolio is going to have a weighted average of 5.79%. Now, the reason it's less than 6 is because he's got $25,000 in savings. If you have a bank account that's earning 6%, let me know. But in this case, his bank account is earning 0.0000 nothing, which is why his weight of return is below 6%. Now, the money that's in the market is going to continue to earn 6%. Now, his monthly expenses, $3,334 per month. Now, inflation is going to be 3.24%. Now, the difference with the software and the board, I'm looking at inflation on a decade basis, okay? The software is going to look at inflation on a monthly basis. So this 3,334 figure is going to get an inflation bump every month, okay? So we're actually going to get a better picture of can I retire. Remember, the board is the base. The board gives us the idea, can we move to the next step? So if the board says, yes, you can, then we go into the software to get really detailed. So from a tax standpoint, we already talked a little bit about this. His projected federal tax rate is very low because he's going into retirement, but his projected state tax rate at 6% is actually higher than his federal tax rate, which is why I've talked to Mike about getting out of New York. Now, from a retirement standpoint, this is where the rubber meets the road. So when he retires, based on current environments and contributions and all that, he's going to have approximately $741,000 in retirement investments. A little bit of growth from the 709. And if you scroll down through here, basically at 100, he's going to have $307,000 left in retirement investments. Now, this is earning 6% just every year. Portfolio weighted average 6% every year. But remember, he is concerned about sequence of return risk. So if we just put 6% in every year, that doesn't give us a good idea of sequence of returns, because it's just boom, 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 6%, right? So let's look at sequence of returns. So we'll go to market. Now, what I like about the software is we can go back into history and look at basically back to when the S&P 500 was founded. And we can look at, okay, let's take that decade and put it on our retirement investments and see how long our money's going to last. Now, history doesn't always repeat, but it does rhyme. So what I like to do is, first of all, I want to look at the worst decade or the lost decade, which was the year 2000 to 2010, and I want to compare the two. I want to compare the geometric return, the 6%, and I want to compare what a sequence of return would look like. So over here, we've got our rate of return of that 5.79, which is the 6% every year. And over here, remember, we have the year 2000 to 2010. And so the year 2000, the market was down 10%. 2001, it was down 13%. In 2002, it was down 23%. So if you're keeping along, it wasn't up 6%, 6%. It was down, actually. So if you look at his investments, compare the two. So in year one, he would have $742,000. Based on what the market did in the year 2000, that's a difference of a negative $44,000. For year two, his investments would have grown from 742 to 745, making 6% a year. But if you compare that to 2001, he's down 13% on his market investments, which means the difference is $142,000. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, good. So let's look at this. How long is his money going to last? Well, now, if we take the year 2000 to 2010, he's out of money at 86. Whereas if we're just doing a 6% geometric rate of return, he never runs out of money. But if it's a 2000 to 2010 decade, he's out at 86. So that's the risk you have to look at. What happens if the market has multiple bad years right out of the gate? Okay? So let's look at a different decade. What decade do you want to look at? 1990. Okay, we'll look at 1990. So if we go to 1990, the roaring 1990s, basically at 100, he's got $14 million. So I hope we have a 1990 to 2000 decade. I would say that's probably a really good decade to say, man, that may be the best. And 2000 to 2010 might be the worst. We really want to find somewhere in the middle, which is why I only use a 6% rate of return when I'm doing a market analysis for a client. We've got to find some middle ground. So let's go back and let's look at that 4% in the software that we did on the board. Remember, we did two rates of return in the last video. We did 6% rate of return and we did a 4% rate of return. And there was about a $600,000 difference at 80 between the 4% rate of return and the 6% rate of return on his retirement investments. So let's go back to the 4%. Now, while I'm getting there, if you want me to do something like this for you to put your retirement income into the software to see if you're going to run out of money, go to my website, Your Financial EKG. It's actually in the comment section below. There's a free booklet called The Roadmap to Retirement. Download that. It talks about different types of retirement income. It's a free booklet, but that's the way you get in touch with me. You'll select the box that says, yes, I want to visit with Drew, and we can get together and we can do a board first, say, hey, can we retire? And then we'll do the software second to do a complete Your Financial EKG on your retirement investment. So let's look at a 4% rate of return. So all else being equal, okay, everything else is equal, all the stuff before, but now we're looking at 4%. Well, if you look at 4%, we have this red line that shows up, and that is a nasty red line we don't want to see. So earning 4% a year, Mike, at age 90, is out of money. So amount needed today to avoid a shortfall, we need $250,000 on top of his $700,000 to never run out of money, earning 4%. Now, his rate of return needed to avoid a shortfall is only 5.62%. Now, the confidence that I can tell Mike is, hey, we're running this at 4%. All that you have to earn over the next 30 years is an extra 1.6% on your investments, and you never run out. So he doesn't have to change his investments from being conservative to overly aggressive to try to earn some high rate of return to never run out of money. He just needs to adjust his investments a little bit to try to earn 1.6% more, right? Because a lot of times in our minds we think, oh my gosh, I've got to earn 8, 9, 10% retirement. I'm going to run out of money. No, a lot of times it's just 5.62. So you don't have to change your investments all that much. You just need to change how you're allocated slightly so that you don't run out of money. So again, let's look at the market. Let's do the comparison here. We'll go to historical rates. We're looking at 2000 again. And at the year 2000, now we're out at 82 instead of where we were before. And if we go to the 1990s, where are we at 1990 here? 1990, boom. We're not running out of money at all. We're doing really, really well. And so for Mike, the biggest thing for him when it comes to sequence of return risk. This is what I tell all my clients. We've really got to be on top of this as we go into retirement. And you know what I told him was, I know you're retiring from your main job, but are there other things that you can do to maybe bring in a little extra income so you're not pulling as much retirement income off of your investments? That's something we want to look at. So I hope this has helped you in deciding, can I retire at 60 with $700,000? Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. God bless. Bye-bye.